My new front porch was the latest project I did on my house. And so I decided to do a little side-by-side of all of the projects I've done. It's up to standard now. It's supposed to be a lot. That railing was supposed to be a lot higher. So come along with me and let's see the changes in my house. What a difference 3 years can make. I did my best to get a good side-by-side, but as you can see here, the flooring has changed, the walls are changed, the furniture, of course, has changed. The windows have changed. I've done so many projects in this house. I'd say the project that made the biggest difference was the windows, getting all the windows replaced because the old ones were just disgusting. They were so ugly. Half of them wouldn't open. So I had Josh Nimmo's company replace all of them, and they did a fabulous job. And then here's the floors. The old cheap linoleum is gone. I had it all ripped out. Some people said just put the new flooring on over the old, but I knew better. And then the walls. My good friend Biff came in and he replastered all of the walls. We decided not to rip it out just because it was all intact. And check out this amazing light fixture gifted to me by my realtor, Jeanette. So having the old one taken out certainly made a difference. You'll notice there's a teeny tiny doorway in the old house. I had that ripped out and had the whole thing expanded. Here I give a tour of the old bedroom. It is now occupied. I'm renting it out. I haven't done the bedrooms yet, so they look exactly the same as when I first moved in. The bedrooms were the most intact, and so they're probably going to be the last thing that I remodel in the house. But basically, it's the same ugly walls and the same ugly everything. But the bathroom is by far the biggest transformation. Look at this beautiful new tile. And that's what the old tile looked like. Like, the bathroom was barely usable. The bathtub, the old one, was disgusting. I demanded a freestyle tub be put in. I had to get it custom sized to fit in the tiny space, but I got what I wanted. Had all the old tile ripped off the walls. I don't like tile on walls. I think it makes it look like a locker room. So instead I had drywall put in and we painted it, and I love my new bathroom. It is so gorgeous. There was ugly tile on the floor. That's all been ripped out. I had to have the floor repaired because the bathroom and the hallway floor were both caving in. So that project got done quicker than I planned on. Now, as you can see, not much has changed in the bedroom except I put some little things on the walls, and my closet looks exactly the same because I haven't done the bedrooms yet. But I will eventually, one step at a time. I've done so many projects. I've done the living room, the sunroom, the roof, the bathroom, had a deck built, but bedrooms are going to be last. So let's take a look at what I did in the kitchen. So since I had that ripped out, it no longer looks like that, and that thing got taken out also. The chimney was covered up, and I wanted it to be exposed because I think it looks really cool exposed. So that teeny tiny doorway is gone, and now I've got a nice big entryway. That was by far one of the best things I've done for this house. And here's the ugly tile that was there before. I have the same nice linoleum flooring going throughout the house. All new appliances, new countertops, pretty much gutted the entire kitchen. It was one of the earlier projects that I did. And then here's the sunroom. Remodeling the sunroom was absolutely disgusting because the rafters were full of squirrel poop. But again, I put flooring over these old tiles here. They were in good shape, so I didn't rip them out. Ripped out those old cabinets, and here the outside view looks completely different because I have a new fabulous deck, and also I no longer have that terrible sliding door. I had French doors installed. And then the last thing is the basement. Had the stairs to the attic replaced, And I did a bunch of work on the basement. I'm still working on it, but that's the difference. What a difference 3 years can make. And I've got a lot more to get to. The first project I did on my house was having a privacy fence installed. This was my #1 priority because this neighborhood is a little bit sketchy. And as you can see here, there's a few places that need to be repaired. I tried repairing some of it myself, but I'm not terribly good at it, as you can see. But for the most part, it has stayed intact, and I'm really happy with the job that the guys did. So I decided to go through and make a couple of repairs. This piece had popped out. I had to hammer it back in place. This piece popped out and I couldn't get that nail all the way in. So I might have to fix that later. But for the most part, the fence has held up very nicely, and I'm very pleased with having a privacy fence because it was a really ugly chain link fence before. So this is what it looked like before. So this was the old fence. I had the new one built on the interior instead of directly on the fence line, just to save time and not have to deal with the surveys and whatnot. So that was the old gate, and this is the new one, and now I've got a ramp. And this was the view from the backyard before, and this is what it looks like now. I'm so glad I made this my first project because having a privacy fence is just so nice. I love it. The third project I did, if you can call it a project, was having a driveway, a gravel driveway installed because at the time I had a bus. The bus is long gone. The gravel driveway is sort of still here, but I am reassessing the situation. I might even pull the gravel up and have it relocated because I didn't do a very good job here. And I think I'd rather have like cobblestones or something else, but I don't really know. It's not an important space to me, so I'm gonna have to think about it. Plus, you can't even see it right now because it's covered with leaves, but half my yard won't grow anything, so I don't really know what to do with the space that doesn't grow anything. Like, I could put down paver stones and have like a back patio, so I don't know. I have to think about it. When I first moved in, I did a lot of work in my basement. I had to waterproof it, I had to demold it, I had to clean it, I had to add a light fixture, but I still didn't like these ugly concrete walls or the floor, so I bought all of this exercise padding squares and basically did my entire basement in them. And it was like a quick, cheap solution, and they just puzzle pieced together, which was so much fun. So here you can see the big mess. I obviously had to clean up the basement first, and then I was able to organize all my stuff that I plan on selling. And it turned out really good, and I'm probably gonna put one more piece here to cover that window. So after doing that, the basement looks so much better, but there's still a little bit left to do, a few more things to update. I have to have a couple of outlets installed in this back area because there are no outlets and there's also no light fixture. And I hung up these curtains to make it look a little bit nicer in there, so my basement is a lot better than it used to be. So here's the finished product after getting the almost finished product after getting some more of the flooring in, and then I had to just get that last bit under the washer and dryer. And one of the bigger touch-ups here in the basement was getting this ugly window replaced because it was full of gaps, and I had also punched a hole in it to vent the dryer. So I had my good friend come over and build me a new one. We've got these cute little slats right now to keep it in place because I wanted to be able to remove the window should I ever have to get out through here. And we've got some plexiglass in there. We'll probably put a couple of screws up top to keep it locked. But this new one looks so much better than the old one. I think I'm probably going to paint it white. Shortly after I moved in and I got my front porch area cleaned up and got rid of all the cat poop in there, my mom and I decided to do some pretty front landscaping because the front area was pretty ugly and I was trying to keep the cats out of there. We bought some red pavers and I got a bunch of plants and we laid down some soil and it looked really good. And then I laid down mulch, but the cats were still pooping in it. So then I ended up having to cover the mulch with pine cones. And this is how the area looked for a long time until I had the entire front porch removed. And when I had it removed, some of the plants I neglected, sadly, because I'm not a terribly good gardener. But I had a couple that I was going to replant and they got stolen. So the whole place has been cleaned out and now I have to rethink the landscaping. So I had to take out all the landscaping my mom and I did, unfortunately. And I was going to put the boxwoods back, but someone took off with them because they thought they were part of the free pile. But that's okay, because we're going to start from scratch. This is kind of the temporary arrangement right now. The mulch smells wonderful, so I'm pretty happy with that being there. But I want to fill the entire yard with plants. I want plants lining the fence. I want just a few stepping stones to get through this space, and I want the rest of it to be full of plants. And I don't have a green thumb. I tend to kill things by accident, so I'm really gonna have to do my research and pick things that are hardy and maybe ask my friends for help. I haven't decided yet. I've also thought about maybe this little strip right here in front of the sidewalk if I'm allowed to do things there, but then again, that's where I put the trash cans, so probably not. But I definitely want to fill the front area with a bunch of pollinating plants. So, we'll see. I've got lots of time to plan, and I'm probably not going to start this project anytime soon. Getting all the windows replaced in my house was by far one of the most important projects that I did because it lowered my utility bills and it just improved everything in the home. They look so much better. Now, these blinds were here whenever I moved in and they were in relatively good condition, and I'm a big believer in if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So I love my new windows, and some of the blinds are a little bit damaged in places, but that's okay. I don't plan on replacing them. So there aren't a lot of touch-ups that need to be done in my kitchen. It's pretty solid. Just a few things that I want to do. Right now I'm doing just a couple of paint touch-ups in some spots. Like there's a spot right there that could stand to be touched up just a little bit. This color doesn't quite look the way it did when I first did this. I hope I didn't mix something in there that didn't need to be in there. Well, anyways, I'm gonna do a deep clean, maybe dust off those shelves. I was thinking about finishing the wall behind the refrigerator because I have more of these panels. I just got lazy and just stopped. And I'm keeping the panels like hidden in this crack here so that they don't get lost, but I really can't be bothered. I don't feel the need to pull my refrigerator out and do that back wall, so that might be a someday project. So aside from deep cleaning, doing a few little touch-ups here and there, and then replacing those two boards with one 2x4 to make my oven more level. I don't like the way that looks with those two pieces uneven there. I'm gonna replace those. And other than that, there's really not much else to do in the kitchen. Like, it turned out very nicely, and I'm pretty happy with it. So I've been calling this room the sunroom, although it's technically not a sunroom. I guess it's just a back room. Really, I should be calling it my work room because I want it to be where I do all of my projects. And it's a little bit cluttered on account of the TVs I inherited from my grandma. I'm not sure yet what I'm gonna do with all of those. And then I got my little recycling center over here, along with my compost bin. Now, I love the walls and I love the ceiling, but I absolutely hate this back wall. We didn't have enough of these boards to do the back wall, and it would look so much better in here if we did. For one thing, I tried to do some of the drywall myself, and as you can see, I am no craftsman. It looks like garbage. So then I tried hanging up these curtains, and that didn't look very good either. For one thing, one of them was much shorter than the other. I thought about maybe putting trim around that border, but really I want more of these boards. And I believe they're 2x6s. I'm not real sure where they came from, but it's very rustic in here. It looks nice. I really like the way that it looks. And so at some point, I want to replace this wall with more of those boards so that the whole thing looks very similar. But that's going to be a someday project because I just don't have the time. And maybe eventually I'll repair my shabby work, although I don't think anyone really notices, especially if I were to put like a utility mat down. Like, who's gonna care? But those are all projects for another day. So I've done several touch-ups here in the sunroom, but a lot of them are probably gonna be temporary. Here I've got my recycling center, which is obviously full and needs to be cleaned out, along with my little compost bin. This was meant to be temporary, but it's just so cute. And my little workstation here is also kind of a temporary situation, plus I need to find something to do with those TVs. Now, these windows had no blinds, so I bought some blinds, and they weren't expensive. They were like $9, so that's really the last project I need to do in here is get those blinds installed. This back wall has been a problem the whole time because I made a bunch of goof ups while trying to do drywall, and then I didn't want to replace the wall, so then I bought this like ugly plastic trim, which is definitely not meant to be glued to the wall, and then I glued it to the wall, and then I kind of wanted a curtain, so that's like a shower curtain. It's pretty trashy, but I think it looks a little bit better than it did before. So that's gonna be temporary. What I really want is to have these walls ripped out entirely and the entire sunroom to be done in these wall panels, which span the rest of the sunroom and the ceiling. So maybe someday, and if I do that, I'm gonna hire someone to do it professionally because I'm just not so good at that. I did a poor job of adding some silicone to a crack there in the wall. I need to touch up the paint. I'm currently painting the trim, and I'm painting the door because that color is ugly and there's definitely like touch-ups that need to be done and it's just not very pretty looking. So I'm gonna paint this side of the door white. I probably won't bother with the other side, and then other than that, I'm gonna get a different bath mat for the toilet because I did a very poor job trying to put silicone around the base, and also because this mat used to be completely white, and even when I bleach it, it doesn't look better. But other touch-ups that I did a very thorough cleaning. I'm gonna get some moss to put around the base of the bathtub. Erased some pencil marks there. Cleaned the whole place up real good. Yeah, the touch-ups are coming along nicely. The door looks better, although I'm not a perfect painter. I definitely think it looks better, and it kind of sticks now. I guess that's because of the paint. There's just a few more things left to do, but they're not pressing matters. One of them, I really hate the way that looks. I was in a hurry to get it done. I did a poor job of getting this done, and also that right there. I thought about maybe trying to like fix it, but then I thought, well, you know what? I could just get creative and get like some plastic vines and just kind of wind them around the back of the sink to kind of add to the excuse me, to add to the spa theme of my bathroom. I repaired a tile, but I think I used the wrong grout, so I might have to kind of paint it to make it blend in with the rest of the grout. I got this beautiful new bath mat, which I love. And Fox is going to help me add some weights to the shower curtain so that it doesn't draw in whenever I'm running water. So I think, oh, and that's my new plant. So I'm gonna call my bathroom finished. Finished for now until I add a few more updates. So I recently had my living room transformed, and this is the new coat hanger because the old one was rickety and taking up too much space. I had the walls painted this very nice neutral color so that I could hang a bunch of local art on the walls. I inherited a lot of my grandma's stuff, including this piano, and I got this beautiful tree from a friend. But as you can see, there's a few touch-ups to do. The wall started cracking right there for some reason. I'm not real sure why. We just plastered over the old plaster because it was all pretty much intact. But I laid down the new flooring all throughout. I also got a fix that little spot right there where the antenna broke off. That's the problem with plaster, is it's a little bit problematic, but the end result looks really nice regardless. So now I'm putting up accent lighting, doing a few other things. Gonna try to figure out what to do with the space with air intake. There's my painting with the local art, and check out this lighting, isn't it cool? I love it. That was a Christmas gift from my boyfriend. So the new living room is so much nicer, so much cleaner and tidier, and I'm going to keep working on it a little bit. So my back deck was actually done a little bit earlier in the remodeling process. As you can see, I haven't done the best job taking care of this beautiful wicker furniture that was gifted to me, so I need to fix it and clean it and tidy it up a little bit nicer. Had a bit of a mishap there with that one. But anyways, this back deck is so much better than the old one. The old one you could barely stand on. It was about to collapse. And I had this new one built, and I had a ramp put in so that it would be wheelchair accessible. As you can see, I tried to fill in some holes with wood putty, which was not the right thing to do, but whatever. Anytime I do work myself, I always end up making mistakes. But I need to do another round of stain to seal it in a little bit better. Believe it or not, it is stained, but it doesn't really look like it, so that'll be something else to do. And then the latest project was the front porch, and it was so expertly done. It is so much nicer. Right now I'm decorating with pine cones because it's winter, but the old one was like this heavy tile, and I don't know what was holding it up. Like, it looked so dangerous. But my contractor did all this like intricate woodwork in the slats to give it some character. And the railing now is up to standard. If it's above the ground by a certain height, the railing has to also be a certain height. And he also put in this lovely brick walkway, which is so much nicer than the concrete slab that used to be there. So I have done so many different projects on this house, and I'm just absolutely thrilled with how everything has turned out. And here are a couple of other updates. I had a new ladder installed to go up to my attic, which is much safer than the old one. I cleaned and organized my basement and put some lighting up there. That's my boyfriend patching up a place on the roof where it kept leaking for some reason, but I think we've about got it sealed up. And I finally organized my little sunroom workshop. So here I am taking everything out, cleaning it up real good, and getting it organized so that I can finally do some more upcycling projects. I've done so much on this house, and all I have left now are the 2 bedrooms, and I need to figure out what I'm going to do with this outdoor space. So give me some ideas, and thanks for watching.